Fresh ragu meat. I mean, I hope not. I hope you don't, you know.
This is the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. This week, ask not for whom the Belsavis tolls, it tolls for thee. Yes, that's right. We will be taking our Sorks to Belsavis. We're going to do a little bit on Hoth to finish that up, but then we'll be on Belsavis. And we'll also be talking about all the news in the dev tracker and elsewhere about the coming class changes that will be part of 5.9. This astromech over here is EPC 238. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. Actually going pretty well. We have been doing in our guild a lot of Gods from the Machine in the last couple of weeks, so I think all of our ops teams have been pretty focused on it. And for tonight, MFN, for the third week in a row, we focused on it in MFN, which is not common for us to do quote unquote progression content on MFN night. So kudos to everyone who came and stuck it out and followed directions and did these fights. So basically we killed the first two bosses tonight in MFN, which gives a little bit of a head start for our pub team that's going to be working on Isaacs on Monday night next week. And they're probably going to get together and try to get a few more bosses, one or Nahut and Skyva down so that they can have all of Monday to work on Isaacs. So yes, and that's what we did on Lords of Light last week too. So gods everywhere, gods. Oh, and also some conquest.
Awesome.
That's what I've been doing this week.
I too have been doing conquest, gods. Played with. This must have been from last week. I don't know why I have Nahut up there, because he's part of the Gods from the Machine. Isaacs, I think I meant Isaacs. The progression against Isaacs is the fun part. Our ops team on Thursday got to the final phase. We were at about 30 seconds. One of the first couple times we had seen Skyva, and we're dragging her around through the maze, playing Frogger. But one of our other ops teams, grats to DST.
Yeah.
It's DST, DTS, DST.
DST.
Marcus's team and company. They did
Death Star Troopers.
Death Star Troopers. There we go. Empire did nothing wrong. Shout out for our boys in white, Death Star Troopers. They killed Isaacs. They killed Isaacs. Everybody's marching that direction. So now I'll put one of the Isaac statues somewhere. I don't think we can fit it on the guild ship. That statue is enormous. So I don't think there's a space that his head won't clip through the ceiling. But we can put it maybe like on the balcony of our guild stronghold. We've got a couple of guild strongholds, so we can do that.
It's a wee tiny Isaacs.
It's a wee giant Isaacs. So we big. That's what Maki used to say. We big. So that's what I have been doing too. Yeah, and Conquest. So Conquest, we're getting rolling on the Conquest. We're sort of figuring it out. We're getting the feel for it. We're getting a feel for what our guild is capable of when we put our minds to it. We had an amazing night because we threw in an extra little bit on Friday where we said, okay, we're going to do those 3 kill a world boss, kill a commander, and that's 15K alone. And we got a bunch of random people together. We pulled in a couple other strangers that just happened to be waiting around for the world boss on Tatooine, and we brought them along with us. And we went from about 130,000 conquest points, and we went up 200,000. We basically made as much of our small guild target that night alone just by doing that, which was interesting.
And that was incredibly profitable conquest-wise, yeah.
Right. I think we're still going to stick with small planets for a little while until we really figure out how we would want to nail the medium planets. And it's not really worthwhile going after the medium planets just yet. It will be once 5.9 hits, which will be in a month from now. Basically, it'll be May 1st. And once we get to that, we would like to start going after medium planets, but we're going to have to plan it out. We're going to have to make sure that we can, because we'd rather hit a small target than go after medium target and not hit it. Even though the rewards are better, obviously, for medium target, it would be disappointing to never be hitting targets again. So that has been fun. So that's what I've been doing. I think other things have been going on, though, as well.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So in the news, we have seen a couple updates. So we have updates in the dev tracker where they're talking about details of how the new augments are going to work. There was a couple clarifications that were posted. Those new augments will be 240 legendary quality. They're going to take the same materials that are currently used to make the highest tier of augments, which means charged matter transubstantiators and whatnot. But it says, and what they're saying is that it's just going to take more of those. Those materials typically come from command crates. They will also now come from, they currently also come from master mode operations bosses and the ranked PvP missions. They're also going to be coming from an additional source. What was the additional source?
Ranked PvP, Conquest, and Ops.
We're also this is what I was just talking about. The medium and large tier planets.
Oh,
medium
right.
yield planets
Yeah.
and large yield planets will also be getting those materials like charged matter transubstantiators as the reward. So that's why I said it will be profitable, it will be interesting to be going after medium planets once we get to May 1st.
Right. Yes.
This is why. And then the other update on that was the schematics as they drop in the master mode flashpoint, the new flashpoint on Nathema, will be bind on equip, which we all knew what that meant, but they had to clarify, and Eric, apparently that confused people. Yes, you don't equip a schematic, but they will be unbound until you use it and learn it, which means you could put it on the GTN, you can trade it to your players, you can put it in the guild bank, you can send them all to me, whatever the case might be. I recommend the last one. So that is that. What else is up in the news? Way up in there in the news, Seema.
Way up there in the news. So there have been some utility changes announced. Most of them seem to kind of cluster around damage reduction. So they called out in the notes all the different classes that are getting changes, but most of the changes were increases to damage reduction or shortening, I think, of cooldowns before you got to the damage reduction, something along those lines anyway. And then also for Marauders and Sentinels, they did like a special kind of change where some abilities would resist. They're changing that, how it behaves, to more of a reduction so that some aspects of an attack don't get resisted completely just because the first one got resisted. So you might get you just get like 75% reduction instead of 75% resist.
Yes.
So like crowd control and things like that might have a damage component. It just makes it easier to process, and also it makes it less janky in how it behaves.
Yes.
That's the technical term.
Yes. Yeah. I imagine Marauders and Sentinels didn't feel like it was overpowered and janky. They probably liked resisting a CC and a knockback every once in a while, resisting some abilities rather than only reducing the damage from those abilities. But that will make gameplay more consistent and the expectations of players more consistent. They were probably frustrating players and getting reports. This would probably be the kind of thing that people would be saying, oh, that person's hacking because my abilities don't work on them, blah, blah, blah. When just through RNG, you could fail a bunch of abilities against a Marauder or a Sentinel and not realize it's because of just bad RNG against a 75% resist in certain situations. So that could be that kind of thing. The rest of the utility changes, yes, they looked very focused on just damage reduction. So we'll talk about that and our opinions on that in the gameplay section while we're walking around killing things. Also in the news, they did say they are looking at bolster. They do realize that the additional augments and the upgraded tier of augments that is pushing people's power up just a little bit, and they're not yet changing bolster to match as a result, but they're going to keep an eye on it. So it is something they're considering. I don't think it's going to be all that much of a difference because we're only changing the augments. We're not changing any of the other mods. We're not really changing the tier of gear. It's just a little bit of a tweak. But yes, if it gets out of hand and the people with the highest tier and people that are being bolstered in various situations can't compete, then we can complain to BioWare and they can revisit that situation.
Also, they in the dev tracker was the sort of controversial plans for the tank changes, and one of the things they looked at back when they made the changes in all the classes and the amount of DPS and the DPS number that they wanted them to hit, they felt that tanks were blowing that number away, so they're backing down a little bit on the DPS that tanks can do. But to compensate for that so that it doesn't make it harder for them to keep aggro on the mobs, they're also going to increase the amount of threat that's generated by their threat generating abilities.
Yes.
So controversial because, well, nobody ever likes their DPS lowered. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if that makes it harder to tank or not.
Right.
I mean, DPS is a big part of threat.
Yes.
But if they make threat a bigger part of threat, it might work out.
So this was also done in order to impact the way some tank specs were being used in PvP.
Yeah,
so
yes, I should have mentioned that.
And the term skank tank was used to talk about somebody who is using tank specs and tank abilities, but also then outfitting yourself with DPS mods and doing a whole lot of DPS and really performing adequately or well or matched up well as a DPS class, which when you're getting all of the utility of the tank and you're doing a ton of DPS, well, that doesn't really fit how that should work, and it's not really balanced. One could say, I'm sure it's debatable, and some people aren't going to want to say that, but one could say that. So this was in order to combat that to some degree as well. Now, there's a lot of debate on all sides of this. Is this the right way they should have changed that? Is this going to fix that in PvP for one? For two, is this going to negatively impact PvE? For three, in PvE, even if the tank performs and able to do their job just as well as before, if the whole group's overall DPS ratchets down by a little bit, now it's still only going to be the amount of the tank's contribution is decreased slightly compared to the overall team. But people are saying at Nightmare Content that extra damage that tank was doing was really valuable and useful too, and now you're sort of cheating us out of that. So
right.
Remains to be seen if that's going to how that's going to work out. I think we do need to see how that's going to work out and see how it feels, but we'll talk about our opinions on that in our gameplay section as well to some degree. In game and community news, we did see that I just did want to give the shout out to all of the teams out there, especially our Death Star Trooper boys in white, and the Isaac's kills that are starting to flow in. I believe there's still a contest going on from Bad Feelings Podcast that's somewhat sponsored by somebody we play with. I'll let him post out.
Or possibly entirely sponsored by.
But that and other contests elsewhere, get those kills tracked. Keep your screenshots. Grats to everyone who's starting to kill Isaacs on Master mode or Veteran mode, which feels like Master, I guess, because that will get you the special achievement and rewards if you do it before May 1st. So all of that is happening in a really interesting way. Oh, one point of clarification. I saw a couple posts where people are saying, oh, hey, they said it's going to, they're only doing this contest up to May 1st because it's going to be easier to kill Isaacs after May 1st. They must be nerfing him. No, I don't think at all. I don't think that's at all. I don't think they're going to nerf Isaacs after May 1st. The deal is the new augments will be in. Your power will go up. That's going to be your bonus to be able to kill Isaacs in Veteran mode in the future. I don't think the plan's to nerf Isaacs at this point. That could change, but I don't think that's the plan. What else in Guild and Community news, Seema?
So this week, the week of April 10th, our focus for Conquest in the Guild is pub side, and that's why we were on the pub side for MFN this week. I mean, that's not that's coincidental this time, but I do want to say, please, on the pub side, look in the guild bank, take out mats to make an invasion force, do it every day, because you'll be making points for the guild. And if you're thinking in your mind, well, I make my own way and I don't take from the guild bank, there's people that are working very hard to put that stuff in the guild banks just so you can take it out. And so you're not doing us any favors if you don't do it. So take the mats out, make an invasion force. There's also mats in there that you can use to make the other crafting conquest target, which is called crafting many war supplies, where you have to make 10 of each war supply. It's more challenging to make them now, so it's, don't feel bad about taking some help from the guild bank, and we want you to. So that's the message there. And then next week, MFN and Conquest Focus will be back on the IMP site. But this week, the week of April 10th, pub.
Excellent. Just do it. Seema told you to do it, so just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. All right, I got Kemval here dancing on my screen. I don't know if you can see that, but I know how to make Kemval dance. You guys try that. Kemval, what are we doing tonight?
Jinasiwe ja alaize nam nadize. Ustaupime ICJ in alam is frumadine habans.
Yes, thank you, Kemval. I did miss giving a shout out to the chat room. Thank you, chat room, already helping us out this podcast. Big part of the podcast every week. I will catch up with all of you after, and we will be doing the very tail end of Hoth now and getting to Belsavis. So Seema, I am at the Frostwake outpost.
I see that. I just noticed that, so I'm flying your way.
I just quick traveled, but you can certainly fly if that's more comfortable.
Oh my gosh, I'm dumb.
No, I led you to the flight path.
Yes, that's right.
That was a trap.
Right. It worked.
I took you right there, and then I quick traveled.
I just mindlessly clicked on it. I went so far as to look on the map to see where you had gone, and then I still clicked on the flight.
Okay, well, I'll wait a second here. I'll get ready. Although you did this part, so maybe I'll start heading towards where I need to go. I need to go here into the Frostwake outpost, I think, and chat with our pal Talos Drellic. So where we left off last week, we had finished up our key mission on...
Or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, 3 weeks ago, right. So the last 2 weeks we were doing the flashpoints that came in between. We were doing the Revan story. So we did Boarding Party and the Foundry, and then we got to see the introduction of Revan into the storyline. Revan will... The impact of that will reverberate throughout the SWTOR universe in weeks to come. But we sort of leave off from that now and get back to the main story of what's going on here at Hoth. In this part of the Sork storyline, we are absorbing the power of Special Force Ghosts because we need to defeat Darth. That's Scotia. Thanaton. We need to go back and get back at Thanaton. So we came here to Hoth. We had a little mission from one of the Force Ghosts here who wanted us to go lay waste to a temple, and that made Talos Drellic cry, but he helped us do it. And now we're going to go back and see what how we wrap it up.
Now, I have to analyze this droid, but your friend said they'd be here if you needed them. I believe the ghost said he was in the Dreadnought. Best go there if you wish to find him.
All right, so he says he's got a little bit of work to do here, and we finished up into the Assassin Temple, and now we have to go into the Dreadnought. So this is that easternmost place. Oh, you can mount in here? Why am I not mounted? What the heck? The heck? My
the heck?
My college daughter just watched Fargo not too long ago.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie. She thought it was something else. There's some newer movie that came out just in the past 6 months or so with a similar one-word name. And she ended up watching all of Fargo and then realizing that wasn't the movie. she typically does not go back and watch old movies, which is Fargo's not that old. But she's like, that was weird. That was not what I expected. But there's a point in there, multiple times in there, William H. Macy, he says, the heck do you mean? So my daughter keeps saying that to me constantly now. William H. Macy says it so much that Steve Buscemi mocks him at one point on the phone. He's like, the heck do you mean? The heck do you mean? Shut up. I forgot what his name is in the movie.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. It's a good one.
It is a good one. I had to explain.
But now I'm
black
curious,
humor.
what movie did she mean?
I forgot. I could
Which-
probably look it up if you look at. It's probably some stupid
Let's stop everything and look that up right now.
stupid Jake Gyllenhaal movie or something like that, or
Oh,
when some more modern movie.
go far.
The heck do you mean? But this is what was I saying? Oh yeah, this is the easternmost area of Hoth, where also if you start doing the heroics, and it used to be the heroic series, the heroic story. This is where that happens on Hoth. But I always liked this area on Hoth. So this was the results of a giant space battle, and you can see a whole bunch of crashed Imperial starships and Republic starships and Imperial dreadnoughts way at the end, and that's where we're headed. This was really cool scenery the first time I ever got here, and still, but especially the first time. This just makes Hoth a really cool place. A lot of pirates around here, though, too. Arr. Arr, you're after
I'm liking
me,
this
booty.
glacial ice tromper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Where did you get that? Do I have one of those? Because it's got, like, glowy parts on it, doesn't it? Yeah, look, he's got, like, a little
I'm
lit
pretty
up
sure
armor.
I bought it off the GTN at some point.
I might have one somewhere. All right.
Or was it off an event vendor, maybe?
Maybe. Oh, that reminds me. There's a difficult to get holocron. Datacron? I always get those mixed up.
Oh, yes. That's the frustrating one where you have to wait for the crate to come over, and then you jump on the crate, but then you miss that crate, then you have to wait.
Well, that's one. And that one is interesting and frustrating. But then there's another one where you got to be climbing up on top of the dreadnought.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Man, I haven't done those in so long. You used to have to do them on every character, and since then, you sort of forget. You forget that they shouldn't. Now I think they shouldn't have done that, because it was an excuse
now they're just
to,
a
like,
part of history.
It was an excuse to, like, get the guild together and go do the hard ones. It was an excuse to go and you'd visit these remote locations and do weird stuff. And now it's gone. No more of that.
I've heard it both ways.
I've heard it both ways. You mean the right way and then yours? I too.
Well,
have heard
I
it
mean,
both of those ways.
I never minded doing them on different characters, especially since you'd only have to do your prime stat and any stats that you were interested in. But I understand people who didn't want to do it on every character too.
Yeah. Yep. So did I. All right, let's kill a couple pirates, because I think we're gonna need to.
Just two. Pirate.
All right. Only two all rights. Oh, there's more than two, unfortunately. They're little ones, though. They're all little. I'm sorry, you're supposed to say which one's the little one. I'm supposed to wait for you to say that. I'm messing up the joke. Bang. What? Who's... Oh, that's Shea Vizsla. Shea Vizsla was coming in from behind and shooting, and I was laser beams, and I made me afraid. It was scary. I'm being lazy. I'm just AoEing everything. So where do we gotta go? Last chamber. The Chamber of Secrets. You're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what?
The Chosen.
There's an inappropriate old YouTube meme video that does that scene in a funny way. I showed that to my kids too. Now they do that all the time. I'm just Harry. Well, just Harry, you're a wizard. But I'm not a wizard. And they go on for about 10 minutes. Start swearing at each other. Okay. Here we are. Oh, can you come in here? There you are.
Yeah.
Of course you can. Kalish warrior. Kalish. Who's Kalish? Are they pirate? Are these pirates? Yes, Khaleesi. It is known.
These are the ones you fight in the battle for Ilum, too.
Really? What's their deal?
Yeah, cliche things.
I have more inside jokes in my head. The Indian superhero movies. Krish. Did I tell you about that? That my kids and I started watching?
It does not ring a bell.
Okay, well, that's something else you have to look up. Kriissh or something like that. Look up Krish on YouTube. And
Okay.
it is some weird stuff. But my kids and I spent a whole evening watching Krish clips and movies. Because there was a YouTube video entitled the most amazing live action stunt in any movie ever. It's this weird thing, and it is not the most amazing anything of anything, except for how unique this Indian superhero movie is. It's sort of like a cross between superhero, like Marvel and Bollywood, and it just gets really weird. All right, so we're almost up to the end here, and then we can also be talking about some of the other
That sounds like something I might like.
cross between Marvel and Bollywood.
Yeah.
Look, they're actually shooting me. Stop it. Heal me, Seema. You're not a healer, are you? That does not compute. Seema's not healing.
Heal your own darn self.
I did not sign up to have to
Sight is like
kill a whole bunch of trash before I get to do my final thing. We're in combat? Why am I running slow? Oh, there we go. Oh, here we go. Horak Mol.
My savior and avenger, my heart is light, almost as if I were alive again. Your monster is quite impressive. In my day, he that possessed such a prize could have ruled the Sith.
Johnny Bragais, uns in Freistobnajal.
I am sorry, but I have always been vain, and surrender is not a pill I swallow easily.
Should I be mean? I don't care. I'm gonna take his essence anyway. Let's make a deal, buddy.
I promise to free you when I have defeated my enemy.
What? I
Darth
promise no
Vanadon.
such thing.
More generous than I'd expected.
All right. Well,
But
I'll
I
let
would
it
be a
go,
fool
but
to
I meant
ask
to be a
for
little more
less.
mean than that.
Seal the promise with your blood, and I will submit willingly to your control.
Okay, here's where I can go dark side. I am not gonna seal it with my blood. Disgusting.
Sorry. The sight of my own blood makes me squeamish.
I won't
What?
be taken easily.
Also, not something I meant to say, but I'm not gonna cut myself. Oh, here we go. More trash. Fine. There's the easy way and the hard way. You just picked the hard way, buddy. Get on with it. Get in my belly, Force Ghost. I ate him. There we go.
You ate him.
There I am. My eyes are all glowy. Just shake it off. Shake it off, man. You can collapse to the floor a little bit. Now I'm feeling good. All right, now I go to my ship's airlock on Hoth. All right, that's a clue. That's one of those situations where do not go onto your ship. Do not go to the fleet. Do not fleet recall. You need to go to the station and in Dorn Base. I'm going to go to the Dorn Base Cantina. And then you need to get on your ship because that's there's probably something going to happen at the airlock, like Talos Strelic is going to stop by and say, "Hey, take me with you.
I love you.
You're the
Yeah,
best."
I want to come too.
And he's really grown on me, so we will.
As he should.
Can you decline any companions? I don't think you can. You used to be able to.
Not in this part
I
of
think
the story.
in beta you used to be able to. But in your the 5 companions you get as part of the main story of every class, I don't think you can decline any of them anymore.
No.
Yeah, so that's interesting. In beta you used to be able to like kill some, I think. Your ship. I do want to go. Wait, Adama Space Station. That's where I want to go? Space Station? Yeah, I want to go to the space station. Then that leads to the airlock. Oh, it's so complicated. So as I'm walking to the space station and the airlock, Seema, any comments on the new augments that you have? I have a couple, but nothing big.
I'm looking forward to when we have them all. I'm hoping that you're working on that.
So we're going to have to do the master mode flashpoint in order to get the schematics, step 1. Step 2, we're going to have to get some charge matter transubstantiators. I do have a nice little side collection of those. Step 3, they're going to be pretty profitable.
Oh, my lord, I hope to catch you before you left. I have resigned from the service. The military
really?
just isn't the best use of my talents. I feel I could serve the Empire better by helping you, if you'll let me.
I'm just gonna say, of course. He can help me in my dark ways.
I can always use another lover of the strange. It would be an honor.
Kembal approves.
I promise I won't let you... Wait, you will? Great. Great. Thank you. You won't regret it. I have military training, rifles, small arms, grenades, and I am the best in the galaxy at finding rare artifacts, if I may say so.
That may be useful.
Lieutenant Drellick has quite the reputation in his field. He's the perfect combination of brilliant, valuable, and deceptively non-threatening.
Remarkable. Are you another ghost, or...
Something like that. Perhaps I'll tell you about it sometime.
I promise I won't let you down.
Alright, there we go. So now we have Talos Drellick as a companion. So if I look at my companion list, so I have the purchased ones, and what? I think, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so we still have one more to go. And I don't know who that is. I have forgotten who the last companion is for the Sork. Now we get on our ship and use our intercom. So yeah, the point 3 on the augments is they're going to be way profitable early. So although I do want to make a set for myself, and I'll make them for anybody else who wants me to make them. If you get the mats, I'll make them and give them to you. Obviously, for a price. No, I've got all the skills. I could make them all, and I'll get the schematics as quick as I can. But I'm gonna have real trouble resisting making them and selling them right away, at least for a couple weeks. So maybe I'll sell most of them, but to outfit myself along the way with like the crits or something like that, because they are going to be super profitable for a little while. All right, let's talk to my intercom, shall we?
Ah, yes. I can sense the new power within you. Good. And I would suggest...
Oh, there you go. Kembal's shaking her off.
For
once, I agree with a monster.
He tells us we should just go
Thanaton's meditation chamber and blast him with all those dead Sith you've piled up.
Punch Thanaton in the face right now. Agreed. I agree. I don't think we're gonna get to, but I'm gonna agree. Let's do it.
Set a course for Droman Kaas.
You got it, Captain. But if you face him with his defenses up like last time, you're toast. Don't forget it.
If there's any way I can aid you, my lord, let me know.
My lightsaber is ready, should you have need.
Up now, we sons.
Kimball says he's gonna eat him. So what? We go to Dromund Kaas? Did you go to Dromund Kaas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's short.
What? We just get our butts kicked again? We shall see. So how about you, Seema? Are you going to sell any augments? Make and sell? Or are you going to just
I only have 4 of the blah 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 blah
Trend subs?
eaters. Yeah.
That's what I search for on the
So
GTN trend
unlikely.
sub.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. Signs. Seema's Magic 8 Ball. Signs point to no.
Yeah.
Dromund Kaas. Where is that? There it is. Travel now. Okay. So we'll see. I do want to make them, though, especially just to make things easier as we're like playing around with Isaacs, and if we want to start on veteran mode of Gods from the Machine and do
Right.
Nahut and those
Right.
guys, it'd be nice to outfit everybody with the new set of augments. Utility changes, those look pretty tame to me. I had expected quite a bit more, and I had expected my mercenary to get nerfed because that just seems to happen. And all of the utility changes seem to be very focused on just damage reduction, right? Slight increases in damage reduction, which to me overall seems like they tuned the DPS. They got the DPS how they wanted it. Now increasing bits of damage reduction in the utilities is going to increase the TTK, the time to kill in PvP. That seems interesting to me. That they would want to go in that direction. I prefer a slower time to kill. It does. You got to be careful when you pull that lever because it can make healing too powerful in PvP. Because if it's a very slow time to kill, then you have a lot of time for the healers to react and be healing people up. And then if you go too far, then no one ever dies. But a really fast time to kill, I don't like because it feels like you're not, but it feels
You're
like
getting one shot all the time.
Yeah. It feels like you're getting one shot.
And right, and like you don't have time to get your own abilities off.
Right. And then
that could save you.
Burst rules, and you get off a couple of your burst abilities, and either you get burst down or somebody else gets burst down, and that's it. So that is no fun either. So I wonder if that's the kind of math that they're going over in their heads of where time to kill is currently at. Why is Talus following me around? You get Kimball back. So we'll see how that goes. I have not been on the forums or Reddit this week because I was traveling on business. So do you know if there's been much outrage, strongly worded letters?
I know our tanks in the guild that that do a lot of tanking are concerned
on the tanking change. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
On the utility changes?
On the utilities, no.
On that? No.
No.
Okay.
I haven't checked, but yeah.
I know.
I'm sure there's outrage.
At the time of the class updates, there was plenty of outrage over mercenaries not being nerfed for their utilities, for their shield, and the multiple shields and heals weren't nerfed enough, and people were hoping that the utility nerfs would take care of mercenaries even slightly more. I don't feel like that's really a problem.
No. No.
So I wonder if those arguments have still come back up, but you can kill mercs. I mean, that's not really a problem killing mercs right now. The fact that they have a little bit of survivability and they're not just the easiest thing to kill, and it can't be killed in 2 seconds. Again,
you're okay with that.
Yeah. Some of you may die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Yeah, so I think that's okay. We'll see if there's any outrage on that. The bolster updates, that was next in the list. Again, I don't know if there's any outrage as far as that goes. That's another one that I don't think it's all that interesting at this point. The people that really need a bolster, yeah, I mean, I get it if you're brand new to PvP and you're trying to get into it, and there's a bunch of people with that have the top level gear and they're outfitted with the best augments. They're going to be more powerful than you. But that's that's part of the gear progression. You want to be a little bit more powerful. You want gear progression to be a thing. Otherwise, it's not really an MMO. Well, I mean, you could just play Fortnite if you just want to have equal gear, equal progression, or play Overwatch, which a lot of people do. So there has to be I feel like in MMOs, PvP, there still makes sense to have a little bit of that kind of progression.
It's just how much is the right amount.
Right. Which is a good question and is a little bit of a challenge in this current world of how command ranks work. It can feel sort of bad. All right. So we'll talk about the tank changes in just a sec, though. But here I am facing down Darth Thanaton, and I'm going to confront him.
After Lord Cineratus's death, I knew you'd be here eventually. Your persistence is reckless, foolish, insulting. You mock the Sith Order by pretending you are worthy of facing me.
Stop babbling.
The sooner we get this done, the better.
Talk makes you impatient. You are young and proud. No doubt all you see is a withered old man waiting to be crushed and succeeded. Roland?
Yes, Master.
Pretty much.
The apprentice of a disobedient Sith must die. Let us do our solemn duty. This time, I will be sure to dispose of your corpse personally.
Not a chance.
I will not be a corpse.
Oh, what is he doing? I have to defeat Roland. So he shielded himself. I just get to fight Roland alone, I guess. Who just melted.
And 2 companions and me, but yeah, alone.
And Zima. And here's Thanaton. Now we get
You
to
know,
talk to him
chopped
again.
liver.
Why aren't we? Why did he not help his?
You must stop this nonsense now.
Don't let him talk to you like that.
I'm like,
He's a treacherous snake.
the Force ghosts in my head are talking to me.
Careful now.
It's almost like real life.
I warned you, my
The
It's a
voices in
trap.
my head.
I warned you it was not for the weak, but you drank the poison.
Okay, I'm like bursting with lightning at this point. Thanaton's looking at me weird. I'm in the middle of a lightning storm. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. What have you done? You can't handle that kind of power. Says you. Okay, Darth Thanaton just freaked out.
What just happened? Where's Thanaton?
You're dying, little snake. Don't struggle. It'll only prolong the agony.
I just collapsed on the floor.
Right. And the voices are the voices of the Force ghosts in your head.
Don't bind more than one at a time. Well, I did 3. Or else, well, you'll see. Shut up.
Whoever you are, be quiet. I need to think.
I'm lying on the ground.
He should have thought before he grasped for power beyond his abilities.
We had no choice but to serve you before, but now we can finally have some fun.
Oh.
That sounds ominous.
It does. Oh, is there 4 Force Ghosts? Maybe there's
Sith.
4.
Back in the land of the living. Easy now.
Hey, Andy.
You overextended yourself. The ghost's power was too much for your body to adapt to so quickly. And that's not to mention the little chats you've been having in your sleep. Let me guess, the ghosts?
Watch where you pry, old woman.
That's not yours to know.
Deny it outright next time. Evasion is as good as confirmation.
Whatever the cause, you look dire. And Thanaton will take advantage unless we find a cure quickly.
Give me some time to do some research. Ashara, I'll need your help. Holocrons are impossible these days.
Alright. Okay, so Thanaton took off. We confronted him. Thanaton took off. That wasn't great. We get to chase him down. This time I am going to jump right to my ship, because now I got to talk to my intercom again. And this is where we'll get to ring the Belsavis. This is not my ship travel. This is my starships. I should do some GSF, but that's not what
Oh,
I want
yeah.
at the moment.
You should.
You should. So remember, from your galactic map, you can get to your priority ship transport that way, or you can use the ability from your legacy abilities tab, but I just did not happen to have it on a bar at the moment, so I just went to the galactic map. Travel to my ship, and while I'm traveling to my ship, yeah, so tank changes. Tell me a little bit of your thoughts on that, Seema.
So the short version is what I said already, is we'll kind of have to see how it plays out. But it did make me think of when I used to play Rift. And in that game, everyone had something like 9 specs essentially available.
Mm-hmm.
And the class that I played, Cleric, there was a DPS. There were a number of DPS specs and a number of healing specs and a number of tank specs. And when I was playing Rift, the DPS clerics were out healing the healers, and the tank cleric was out DPSing the DPS cleric, and it wasn't really fun for anyone.
Right.
So there does have to be a balance where the tanks don't approach out DPSing the DPS, because there has to be a reason to be DPS and not everybody just go tank, right?
Yes.
And then another thing I thought of too, and this is with the difference between WoW and SWTOR, is that in WoW, it's much more like a tank, once they get threat, they aren't going to lose it. I mean, it's much more like that. It's possible to yank aggro off a tank, but it's not like SWTOR where it's a balance that the tanks have to keep in their rotation and keep on their minds the whole time. So I thought, well, maybe we're going to approach more how it is in WoW, but reading their explanations and the thoughts behind it, I don't think so. I think the increased threat is not to make threat easier to do, it's just to make up for the missing DPS. So I don't know, it's like every sort of balancing thing, you kind of have to try it and see how it works out.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
I mean, I know people look at the numbers and feel like they know how it's going to work, but I don't know. I just think there's so many moving parts that sometimes you don't really know until you actually try it.
Right. Okay, let's talk on my intercom. Travel to Belsavis, and then I'll give my thoughts on it too. But it's pretty similar.
Okay.
All right, intercom.
It makes no sense. Belsavis produced over 3,000 volumes, writings and holocrons. Makes a one-line notation. I'm hearing voices, must find cure. Then nothing. In 3,000 volumes, not a single other mention of the subject.
You're useless.
Being in that Dashad body hasn't done much for your research abilities.
These fingers aren't as nimble for turning pages, but I assure you I can do just fine. Wait. Why didn't I see this before? Volume 2397, line 232. Killed by 4th apprentice today. Caught him spying. Simla, volume 2455. Killed by 4th apprentice today. Caught him spying. The entire volume is a duplicate.
So where's the missing entry? There we go.
Yeah.
What happened to the other volume?
Fennerton must have grasped what was going on when he confronted you and ordered the volumes switched. Let's hope he didn't destroy them. He keeps a private, heavily guarded library under Drummond.
Okay, so basically we have to go fix ourselves so we can control this power so that we can finish Thanaton off. So this missing volume is what we're going after. All right.
And that is Dromacaz still. I forgot about this whole part.
Oh boy. Are we not going to get to Belsavis tonight, Seema?
I don't think we are.
Let's go. Darth Thanaton's library.
Won't be the...
Fine.
Yes.
Let's get back down there real quick.
And we have to find things with our eyeballs.
And then we'll see if we can still get to Belsavis at the very end. So yeah. On the tank changes, I do think it's okay for tanks to not be equal DPS to DPS, and that's sort of the point. And I get that, yes, if you're outfitted fully with tank mods, then you're certainly not equivalent to DPS, but you're doing a lot of DPS. There's other MMOs that I've played where in a tank spec, and tanks don't do very much damage at all, but they're basically unkillable, which is their job, and that's what they're supposed to do. And then you use that in terms of balancing to play that role and design content around it in a unique way. So I don't really mind that, but part of the problem with this kind of change that I see, so so maybe it's going to work out okay, and I don't really mind that too much. I'd still, if in any game, I'd still like to be able to solo and not be completely ridiculous to be in, to be tank spec and like have to switch out of it to get it like a daily done. I don't want that.
Right.
But the impetus for them to do this in this case seems to be based around PvP balance, and that's why they did it. Because they saw this
right.
situation
and that
which
is,
they did not like,
right?
And to some degree that the community did not like. That they were basing a lot of this, and the way they described it, as the community has described this situation and them not liking it, and that's a bad thing. So, these tanks designing, sort of breaking the system in this way, we're going to respond to the community, the PvP community. We're going to listen to your feedback, and we're going to see what we can do to fix it, and this is what we've come up with. Now, you can debate if this is the right change or not, and a lot of people are debating that right now. But that's, in a way, they're responding to community feedback, and they're trying to fix this sort of some seemingly broken situation up. So,
I mean, one of the arguments, as well, since it's clearly a change made to address PvP, if it has deleterious effects on PvE, then that's not good either.
No, it's not. And I also don't like that. I don't like these changes because of some niche PvP situation that causes PvE to break. Did you just die? Did you just...
Nope.
Or is that somebody else? I think somebody else fell down the elevator shaft. Yeah, I certainly don't like that either. So if people start not being able to finish master mode, or master Isaac's fights that they could before,
right,
because the tanks aren't doing as much damage,
because they're losing 2% of the damage that they had before. Yeah.
Then I agree, that's not great either. All right, force persuade. Where's my force choke button? I'm gonna force persuade the guard.
You will let me in. I'm welcome here.
We will let you in. You're welcome here. Thanaton keeps his most useful holocrons on the far wall. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if you took one.
No, of course he wouldn't. Well, that was useful. All right, and we actually have to... Is it a little puzzle? We have to, find something here? Is that the deal?
It's not really a puzzle. It's more like a...
Go grab a thing?
Hidden object game, yeah.
Little, what was I gonna say? Hide the something kind of game? No.
This PvP, PvE balance is something that all MMOs struggle with. Like WoW has gone back and forth between having a complete, right now in WoW, it's a complete different set of, almost complete different set of ability. Like talents are different for PvP, and they only work in PvP, which is one way to address it.
Yep.
And you earn those talents through PvP. So it's have some PvP with your PvP, which is fine.
And that's another way to have sort of MMO-style progression within a PvP system.
Right. Yeah.
Complete. I just completed it. Oh, I'm awesome. So what do I gotta do?
But WoW is all, WoW has been around for 13 years too. Meaning that they've had opportunity to try a bunch of different things.
Yeah. And they've gone back and forth.
It changes every XPack anyway, so they haven't found the perfect solution either with all the resources they have to bring to bear.
Right. Yeah, I remember weird situations in WoW PvP. And how is sort of the state of WoW PvP right now? So one of the things I remember in WoW PvP that I saw quite a bit, and even in this was a while back, but the that time to kill was problematic in WoW PvP, in meaning that you were getting into a situation where healing was really overpowered and nobody would die. And I remember watching like BlizzCon finals of PvP matches, 4v4 or whatever the teams were, and the deal was they would like go at it for a half hour and no one would die for a half hour. And it was all about what team happened to make a mistake first. So is that the best way to handle that? Is that, or not?
Well,
is time to kill, is that too slow time to kill, like we were talking about, or not? And where does the balance fall as far as that goes?
well, it's certainly not that way now in PvP. And if you watch Arena, the Arena matches go by sort of lightning fast. I mean, not short duration, but things happen very quickly, and it's definitely not half hour. But yeah.
The ritual, I have begun to drain parts of my power into holocron. My research points to a cure.
I found more research,
almost
apparently.
Too amazing. It will require going into the heart of Belsavis.
Okay.
Still.
Oh, here
no
we go.
time for hesitation. I go now, or not at all.
So it's saying it requires me to go to Belsavis. This is what I've read. This is what I've learned from this Star Thanaton library is, surprise, surprise, you need to go to Belsavis. So let's pop back to my ship. Quick travel to my ship, talk to the intercom, travel to Belsavis, say hi to Belsavis, and then we can wrap it up for the week.
That way we're not liars.
Yes, I know, because I already titled the podcast before I figured out how long it was going to take to wrap this up. So yeah, some more changes coming. Anything else that we really need to learn about before we get to 5.9? I guess we'll potentially hear a little bit more about Anathema. That's going to be the flashpoint. That's going to be one of the exciting parts of 5.9, and then the trader storyline. So I think we might have heard all of the significant changes so far. All right, let's talk to my intercom.
I want to hear the end of the storyline. I'm excited for that.
Yes.
It will take some time for Ashara and I to study these.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you may want to check in on Harvey.
Oh, crud.
Make certain he knows you're alive.
Seema.
And take any liberties with the trial.
Oh, they want us to go to Hoth?
No, they want us to go back to Korriban.
Oh my God.
Go to Korriban and check in on our potential apprentices, which now reminds me of who our final companion is as the Sith.
Oh yeah, you're right. I did do that. Well, it was a long time ago. Sorry.
Boney McBoneface.
Sorry.
So,
yeah, Boneface.
Quick run to Korriban. Talk to Harkin.
I'm gonna wait in my ship and just watch you.
Talk to Harkin.
Watch you run around.
Try to punch Harkin in the face, but not be able to, which will frustrate me. And see the progress of Bone McBoneface eating all of his classmates.
Well, Zen makes a good point in chat about how tanking is weird in PvP anyway, because what are you actually tanking? Which is another thing that MMOs struggle with, is what is a tank's role in PvP?
Mm-hmm. True. I did like, though, it was I like the idea of how taunts worked, that it added damage reduction. So although it didn't actually cause the other player to have to attack you, it did make it so that they should probably be wanting to attack you, because now you've put a big damage debuff on the player that you're guarding, and then taunts doing sort of the same thing, that kind of stuff. So that utility of having a tank do those kinds of things, again, I don't know if the balance is enough. I haven't seen a lot of ranked matches lately if everyone is still using a tank on their ranked team. But having a tank, a healer, and a couple DPS, if you can balance PvP where the utility of those roles still really made a lot of sense, I think that could be sort of cool. I don't know if the promise of that is all the way there, but I think that would be that's a good goal to strive for, to have the need for those roles on a perfect ranked team, for example. All right, almost.
Yeah, or else they just say, we're just gonna, tanks are no good in PvP. Just always do it in your DPS spec, DPS and healers.
In which case, then I think it was a bad change, and because unless tanks were just so overpowered, currently in PvP, but if this results in no one ever playing a tank in PvP, then I think it sort of went the wrong direction, or went too far, or didn't do what we needed it to do.
Time for death, Twi'lek.
Kava tupa stumpa, makingsa.
Quiet, both of you. You know your trial. Now go.
Harkin, call me a slave. Go ahead, do it, Harkin. Try it. Just
My
please try.
You just missed the latest trial. As you can see, we have a wild group. All except the human. He was surprisingly quick to die.
As long as it was fair.
Through no interference of yours, I trust.
These wretches can get themselves killed without my help. My credits are on the three-eyed one, personally. Uglier than my twisted Sith grandmother, but he has a vicious streak uncommon in slaves.
I prefer the bone face, because I know the outcome.
I'll take that bet. My credits are on the Kalish.
I didn't know you were the gambling type, my lord. While you're here, is there anything particular you want to accomplish with these trials? Many Sith lords use the acolytes to gather things from the tombs for them.
Sure, fine. Give me some
Anything
artifacts.
that will help me in my struggle with Thanaton would be appreciated.
I think I know something. I'll contact you when they are on their last trial, so that you can arrive in time for the results.
Great. Okay. Good. Now we go back to the ship. One more time. Let Zash and Ashara tell me what they found in their research. And see if now we get to go to Belsavis to finish up the evening. What do you think, Seema? Are they going to make us go somewhere else?
Maybe. I'm not saying.
Seema's.
You just call me a liar.
Seema's House of Lies.
You say I promised to take you for ice cream and you didn't do it.
You are learning, young Padawan, the ways of not promising anything ever to anyone. All right. Intercom says...
Dash and I have been looking over the information you recovered from Thanaton's library.
Any truth to the rumors there's a big old Republic prison on Belsavis?
Yes, there is.
I heard something of that from Master Ryan, but I didn't want to believe it.
Unfortunately, Belsavis looks like the most promising lead. Darth Eratus went there seeking a cure for the deterioration of his body. It sounds like precisely the thing you need.
Precisely. Belsavis it is then. Let's go.
Then let's set a course for Belsavis.
My knowledge is limited, but I'll brief you once we dock with the Belsavis.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. I just want to go to Belsavis. Stop talking. You're boring me with your...
I just want to go to Belsavis.
Boringness. Oh, I just hit level 48. What level are you, Seema? Probably...
50.
Are you 50? Why are you 50?
Yeah.
We're doing like the exact same thing. How could you be 50 and I'm 48?
We're doing the same thing, except I'm doing it twice.
Oh, I guess so. Well, I'm gonna sneak in.
I mean, a lot of it I'm doing it twice.
I'm gonna sneak in some other stuff then, like some GSF, and I'm gonna get to
Gonna
51.
do some GSF.
Yeah. All right. Now that I'm in Belsavis and we dock, then Zash's gonna whine at me again, and then, all right, here we go.
We've arrived at the Belsavis spaceport.
Good. We'll have to work quickly if we're to find a cure for your strange ailment. We know that a Sith called Darth Eratus suffered a similar problem. His power
This is working quickly, Zash?
and he began to deteriorate.
Talk.
We also know that he went to Belsavis in search of a Rakata device. that he believed could fix him.
I don't want to get... I don't like the sound of getting fixed. Okay. Bob, one of my conversation choices is blah, blah, let's go. Isn't that what I was exactly saying? All right.
Great. So let's get to the surface.
Let's go.
I wouldn't advise that. Not without a plan.
Oh.
I've looked into it.
Poor me. Driving me crazy.
I don't want no stinking plan.
The Republic have arrived since and built their own prison. Whatever this device is, we'll have to navigate 2 prisons to get to it.
Fine, whatever it takes.
I'll destroy that prison piece by piece if I have to.
Fortunately, that work has already begun. The Empire
Talos Drellic disapproved of that because he doesn't want any relics destroyed.
Saves us the trouble of breaking in, I guess.
Everybody else liked it.
Means the planet is in chaos, and any trailed apparatus left will have been obliterated.
If he could find it, I can. I don't care.
I don't need Darth Eratus's trail. Give me the information, and I'll find the device.
Let me off this ship.
Or any field experts in ancient alien technology? You're good, but I don't know.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas, Zash. I swear I'm gonna reach down that Kemval's throat and pull you out of there.
A group of criminal technologists I once employed. They never met a system they couldn't slice, or a machine they couldn't reverse engineer.
Don't they know it's 1 a.m.?
Diagrams on Belsavis.
Fine, that's a plan then. Let's go.
We'll speak to them.
A good start.
I bet one of the guardhouses has a record of where they were kept. I've seen my share of prisons.
You must be careful. Belsavis is a place of unknown danger.
Stop talking.
The dates on Dr. Lannis's records show his condition.
I can't believe I'm doing it. That was like the longest monologue of transition of any class story ever. God bless America.
When you wanted it least.
Here we go. So now I get to go to Belsavis.
You're taking the hobbits to Belsavis.
Chat room was saying I should have been spacebarring. I was so close to spacebarring right through that, but I guess that would have defeated the purpose.
Yeah, it would kind of.
But I could whine. I whined my way through it. Load screen for Belsavis, finally. Space station. Rocket boost.
Go, go, go.
Get me down.
To the planet?
Get me to the church on time. All right, almost there. Get to the shuttle. Nice hollow of the planet. Look at that as we go by. Wave to that. Say hi to the robot. It's got a quest for us. Imperial's got a quest for us. Negative. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. It's time to buzz the tower. Here we go. Into the shuttle. Minimum security prison section. Here we go. I could have force. What? I forgot. I'm a Sork. I had force speed too. I'm not using all my cooldowns. And look, we are on Belsavis, and it's snowing. Oh, how nice. Welcome to Belsavis, a wonderful location. Full of. I always said. Belsavis would be a lovely planet to visit and live on if it weren't for the murdering prisoners, literally called murderers.
If it weren't for, right, just the mayhem that's here. But I always liked Belsavis as a planet.
Murdering murderers who murder that follow you around and chase you down on this planet. Otherwise, yeah, it's a pretty cool place. Nice scenery, nice landscape. But this is where we're going to leave it for tonight. So we did touch down on Belsavis at least. So we got that going for us, which is nice. So
where's this bell you promised?
We rang the bell, Savis.
We rang the bell,
saved by the Belsavis. That's us. So with that, we are going to wrap it up, and EPC 238 can get kicked out on airlock so he can broadcast this extra long podcast to everyone, because we made sure that we got to Belsavis to match the title that I put in the stream. So everyone else, please keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA. And if you know cool people that should be coming to hang out with us and join our guild, point them at our guild website, aie-guild.org, or have them follow us on Twitter or subscribe to us on YouTube and listen to our podcasts about the guild things that we do, or have them come find us on Starforge. I keep getting messed up if that's actually our server name.
Right.
That is this time. I must have fixed it. Come find us on Starforge and ask us for an AIE Guild invite, because we would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.
Later.